Hey, what's up, Multiplied crew? Are you ready to get deducated? Here it is, Deaducation Episode 2. And in this episode, as you can see, we're going to be teaching you some tips and tricks on how to play Azazel, so let's get right into it. So, a lot of people may know, Azazel is very strong at the start, but he can be kind of hard to play, okay? So, as you can see, his attack charges up, and you have to fully charge it before you can, even launch out this big beam. And you'll also notice that the brimstone beam is not that long of range, okay? And that's an issue, when... Oh, okay. Well, we just get into a devil deal right away. I'm actually going to teach you a little trick here. Even though I don't have to do this, I'm going to teach you a little trick. So, little brimstone's funny to be getting with Azazel. So, if you have a devil deal like this, with the 2 black hearts, but you only... Let's say I only had 1 soul heart right now, okay? I can take this, and then run over to this black heart, and still be able to pick it up. Like such. So, see, I survived even though I should have died there, because I picked up the black heart during the animation. That's a little trick that I've learned throughout the years of playing, and it's only for very specific conditions, so I decided I should probably teach you that while I still can. Because I don't know when I'll see that again. So, yeah, I'm going to be teaching you some strategies for Azazel. And the first thing I'm going to tell you for Azazel, he is very, very strong. You'll see that I'll be able to one-shot most enemies. And he can also fly, which is amazing. And he starts out with Brimstone. Well, a short Brimstone. And we get the Ankh, which is... It's very weird, because if we actually die, it'll turn us into Blue Baby, which will actually give us the completion marks and items for Blue Baby instead. So, the best thing to keep in mind on Azazel is that you just want to keep enemies as far as you possibly can away while still hitting them. So, you want to be able to very quickly learn... Okay, I thought the secret room might be there, but turns out it was not. You want to quickly learn his range, and you want to learn how to keep enemies exactly at the end of his range. Like so. So, because if you get too close, you get, you put yourself into a very dangerous situation, and why do that when you can just hit them from there? And another thing that you can see there is that you can hit enemies through rocks and stuff, so it is very beneficial to fly over rocks just to hit enemies like so. So I'm going to show you really quickly how Azazel can just obliterate bosses. And you'll see me also, so you can use, like you just have seen right there, we can use these rocks to be completely immune to all of Dingle's attacks. That is one of Azazel's best traits. He can pretty much be immune to any attacks as long as he's over rocks. And as you can see, I've turned back on my mods, and I have enabled the external item descriptions mod. And so that'll allow you to see everything that the items do. If you don't know what an item does, just pause the video and you'll be able to see. And the description will be right there. Easy for you to read. And I recommend that all new players, at least after you've beaten Mom. If you're watching this video, I hope you've beaten Mom. That's the very first step that you have to do before watching this video. And once again, I don't recommend taking pills right at the start, or right when you start playing, because they can be very detrimental, especially if you're trying to learn the game. So it looks like the secret room is here. Oh, never mind. Okay. So, I don't know where the secret room is. I thought that it was, guaranteed to be there, but I guess it could be here. Let's just try it. We have plenty of bombs. Okay, we've struck out. Without the map, we don't really want to use any more bombs. We're down to 2. So let's just move on to the next floor. And this run, I was planning on teaching you how to take angel deals, but since we got a devil deal on the first floor, I guess we're just going to stick with devil deals. But I am gonna show you one other thing on this run. If I am allowed to do so. It's gonna be dependent on time, but what I want to do is I want to teach each and every one of you how to get to boss rush and what you should do to win boss rush, okay? So, if you're anything like me at the start of when you started playing, I struggled a lot with boss rush, okay? Boss rush is one of the hardest things in the game to learn, in my opinion. It's just, there's so many bosses all in a row, and they are not usually the easiest bosses to kill. I mean, some of them are easier than others, but it could pretty much be like any boss all the way to like the womb and beyond. So there can be some very difficult bosses that you might have to face if you decide to do boss rush. And I'm just going to teach you how exactly you can potentially, you know, beat it. Just some basic strategies. I'm not going to like try to walk you through it because there's no like one size fits all, because let's face it, this game is a lot of luck, okay? I won't be one to say, oh, this game is 100% skill, although you can win most of your runs if you're skilled at the game. But I won't say it's 100% skill. And even making boss rush is not 100% skill. Like, you can miss boss rush even if you're trying to go as fast as you can, just because you went the wrong direction, you know, couldn't find your item room. All of that could cause you to potentially miss out on boss rush. And I dilly-dallied a little bit at the start of this run, so I will have to start going faster. So I'm also going to explain a couple things that I didn't explain last episode, okay? So as you can see, we have an active item. Right now it's Anarchist Cookbook. It spawns, I think, 9 troll bombs. No, not even 9, 7 troll bombs. Which can be very good for killing bosses and other things. And I got Basement Boy achievement and the Sprinkler. I think that's for taking no damage in the basement. So that's cool. And money equals power is great. It's a damage upgrade for every coin you have. Very good. But yeah, something that I didn't explain is that in this game, you're able to have one active item, one trinket, and as many passive items as you can find. And there are exceptions to this rule, you know, such as you can get School Bag, which will allow you to get a second item, or a second active item. School Bag is a passive item that you can find in the shop pool. And that will allow you to take 2 active items, and you can scroll through each of them with control. And active items, you use them with your spacebar. I don't think I explained that last time, but that should be something that most people know, is that active items are used with spacebar. And on top of that, oh yeah, and there's also ways to get multiple trinkets and multiple cards. I should mention that too, that you can only hold 1 card at a time typically, but there are ways to be able to hold 2, yeah, up to 2 cards. And those would be Starter Deck, Starter Deck, which is a passive item that you can get from the shop pool. Or, okay, I was a little too focused, got hit there, it's all good. It really is hard to both commentate and try to play effectively at the same time, and that's something that you'll probably see many times throughout the series. But then, is it polydactyly, or does that allow you to hold 2 trinkets? I don't remember exactly, but there's a few different items that allow you to do that. Do you see the tinted rock in this room? Okay, I hope you guessed that it was right there in the middle. Because you should have been able to see that little X. If not, you got a little bit more work to do. Okay, we will take Diplopia. If you don't know, Diplopia allows you to duplicate any item that you can find. Multiple items. It also duplicates all the drops on the ground. It's a very, very good active item. Very, very many uses. You know, you can... I guess the uses are kind of limited because a lot of items don't stack. But, like, if I wanted to get conjoined right now, you know what? I'm just going to do it for an example. I can get conjoined right now just by using Diplopia and getting 2 multi-dimensional babies. And now we're conjoined, we shoot out 3 lasers. That is one of the transformations in The Binding of Isaac. It gives you a slight stats down, but it allows you to shoot out 3 shots. 1 straight in front of you, and 1 diagonally in each direction. Each of the forward directions, that is. And it is very, very good, in my opinion. Some people don't like it. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Sinvicta. If you've ever watched a Sinvicta video, you know how he feels about conjoined. And I respect, you know, I respect anybody who, you know, anybody's opinions on what's good and not in this game. I don't know what just hit me, but... Oh, did the eye hit me? So you gotta be careful when you're fighting Peep, because after he gets down to 2/3 health and 1/3 health, his eyes will start popping out. And they just kind of randomly bounce around the room like you saw, and they are a little tricky, because sometimes you just don't see them, so... Okay, I didn't even realize I have cleared the whole floor. Let's move on down. But basically, the reason why I'm playing Azazel to show off Boss Rush is because Azazel is a character that's very easy to get through rooms quickly. Like I said, he starts out with such high base damage, so powerful because of Brimstone. And, like, there's really... The only downside to him is that his range is not that good. So, if you can get past figuring out the range issue, like being able to just get your range directly where the target is, like the very tip of your range directly where the target is, then you will be just fine on Azazel. And that's the best advice I can teach you, is that you want to just be as far away as you can from the enemies while still hitting them. And that, like, seriously, that is the thing that you have to know about Azazel. He's so strong, he can carry your run, and if you get a couple range upgrades, it's even better. But you have to be able to figure out his range, okay? And I've played Azazel many, many times, and Azazel, I may have said this, but Azazel's the character that I actually use to learn Boss Rush. Because you can just get to Boss Rush so easily with him, usually. Like, I could probably dilly-dally for a while, and he still will be able to, or I still will be able to make it to Boss Rush, just because Azazel's so good. I think Blister is actually kind of an anti-synergy. If you didn't see, Blister increases knockback, which is actually knocking them out of my Brimstone. So I'm going to drop that. Don't be afraid to drop a trinket. You don't have to hold a trinket just because you find one, okay? And I really did want to go Angel Deals this run, and there are other ways to get Angel Deals. PhD, by the way, gives you positive pills no matter what. A range upgrade is amazing. Azazel is pretty much the one character that you actually want to get range upgrades on. The other characters, you prefer tears, you know, damage, all that stuff. But Azazel, you really want the range. Range is very, very important on Azazel. Shot speed does nothing for Brimstone, so if you get shot speed upgrades, it's not any big deal. It's not a negative, it's not a positive. Just completely neutral. So we should be able to obliterate Gertie. The trick for Gertie is to be either to the left or right, because if... Okay, I still messed it up, but if you're to the top or the bottom, I'm not sure if you can tell, but the rooms on the map look square. They're not actually square. Clearly you can see this room's a rectangle. You want as much distance as you can get between you and Gertie, so you want to be either on the left or the right side of the room, not the top or the bottom, okay? Something else that I think I should have clarified more in the last episode is that there are unlocks. I said this in a comment. There are unlocks for normal mode, but there's double the unlocks if you play in hard mode. And if you want to potentially get Dead God, which is what this this whole series is about, is getting you to learn, you know, enough about the game to get to Dead God. If you want Dead God, you're just gonna have to play on hard mode. Like, I know it's probably tough, but you don't want to get used to normal mode. If you get too used to normal mode, you're never going to be able to adapt to hard mode. I shouldn't say never, but I struggled with hard mode a lot at first. But I was given the same advice to start on hard mode, because it's not that much harder, but it also, you know, there's a lot of benefit to playing on it. And that's just how you become a better player. You have to do it to become a better player. So this can actually hurt you. Typically, I won't take items that can hurt you, such as, you know, BBF or Bob's Brain. They do a lot of damage, but the potential to hurt you makes them a little worse. Actually, a lot worse, because you really don't want much of anything that has the potential to hurt yourself. If you can prevent it, don't have items that can hurt you. If you can't prevent it, like let's say you take a blind item, which I typically do take blind items, because they are much more likely to be good than they are to be bad. There's way more run-winning items in the game than there are run-losing items in the game. So I think it's an important distinction to say, okay, it probably will be more worth it to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. It probably will be more worth it to take a blind item than to not take a blind item. So, at least that's my opinion on things. Personally, I do take them, like I said, and I don't think I've really ever had a blind item ruin a run or make me lose a run. Usually if I lose a run, it's due to my own skill issue, and there's just nothing you can do about skill issues, you know, besides try to get good. But you can try to get good, and you should get good, and if you play enough of this game, you will get good. It's important, though, on Azazel, make sure you utilize your flight as much as you possibly can. Flight is one of your biggest assets as a character, on top of your super high damage. Once you get this character down, like I said, he is incredible. You'll probably never want to play a different character again. He just goes so hard, and he scales super fast. Like, any damage upgrade. If you don't know, Brimstone actually does your DPS 9 times per second, I believe. Which, you know, that's just really good. So basically, every time we're hitting an enemy with Brimstone with the full beam, we're doing 12 times 9 damage to them. And, well, 12.88 times 9. So he has some of the highest DPS potential in the game. So this would drop me down to 0 hearts, but it would give me a black heart back. You know what, I'm going to take it just to show you. So it gives you a black heart back so it doesn't kill you. And that's an important thing to know for a lot of items in this game. Also, why did I not use the dice shard? So dice shard rerolls all trinkets and items that are in a room. Well, not trinkets and items. All drops and items in the room. It's like a D6 and a D20 combined. So I'm going to use it here, and we get Dark Bum, which is way better. I didn't really get to show off Dark Bum in the last episode, even though I had him, because we didn't have many red hearts dropping. But Dark Bum will potentially turn your red hearts into black hearts, but he can also drop spiders, pills, and since we have PhD, pills are actually good, so that's how I feel about Dark Bum. Very good item in the game, and you'll want to get him if you can. If you can take him, you're gonna want to take him, basically. One other thing I'll say is, I believe I might have already said this, but I highly recommend downloading the external item descriptions mod for yourself. And I'm assuming Lucky Rock was just unlocked because we've blown up so many environmental objects. So that's nice. But you will want to download that mod. Even I still use the mod. Okay, well... So maybe a change of plan here. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a slight change of plan here. I'm actually gonna die and turn into Blue Baby. But we've got Brimstone now, so yeah, we don't have Flight anymore, but we have full Brimstone, so we can actually hit the whole room with our Brimstone. You don't have to worry about range anymore. But we will be getting completion marks for Blue Baby now instead of Azazel. And it's okay to change your trajectory. If you see an opportunity, I actually consider Blue Baby to be a worse character than Azazel. So why wouldn't you want to, you know, change to him? Now let's see if... And by the way, that secret room, really weird spot. Sometimes the secret rooms have been doing, just lately for some reason, they've been doing this thing where they attach to the cursed room, which is really weird because they're supposed to be in between 2 to 3 rooms. So why is it attached to the cursed room? Who knows? But if you can't figure out where the secret room is, that might be where it is. And I'm glad I could show that off too, because sometimes the Binding of Isaac just doesn't make sense. And this is one of those moments where, you know, the less sense it makes, the better the game is, in my opinion. It's just fun to make no sense sometimes. But yeah, if you don't know how to download a mod, or if you haven't beaten Mom yet, because if you don't beat Mom, you can't actually use mods and get completion marks. If you don't have the opportunity to use mods, I recommend Platinum God. It's a website that has all of the Isaac items. Oh, I guess it was still in between 3 rooms. But my point still stands that can happen, where it's just only attached to the cursed room. It's a very weird phenomenon, but I guess I was wrong and that wasn't the case here. But yeah, Platinum God, it has all of the items. You can quickly search them, see what they do before you pick them up. It shows the images too, so even if you don't know the name of an item, you should still be able to find the item and figure out what it does. Oh, I still don't have any keys. And I didn't even take Guppy's tail. So we need to do one more floor in the next 3 minutes to... Oh, never mind, we're in depths 2. I guess we don't have to do another floor. So this is the floor where Mom will spawn, and also where Boss Rush spawns. And we have a very good build for Boss Rush. And I'm going to use this reroll machine. Make sure you don't put the bomb too close to those rocks if you get this room. It will blow up the machine, and you will be very sad. I'll take Splunker Hat. It at least shows me where I'm supposed to go. And shows me where all the secret rooms are. So it's very good. It's a good item. Similar to like Dogtooth, Yo Listen, Blue Map. Shows you where the secret rooms are, but but it also shows you 2 rooms ahead. So you see how it's not just this room revealed, it's this one and the next one. Plus we could see the secret room from all the way over there. But yeah, basically, I'm going to be doing boss rush. And we have the perfect build for boss rush. If you get brimstone, it's so good for boss rush because boss rush spawns 2 bosses at a time. I'd rather have a key over a bomb, so that's what I'm doing there. And let's take on Mom. We should be able to take her out fairly easily. Oh, never mind, I get stomped. So this might be a risk going into boss rush, and I don't typically recommend going into boss rush with 2 soul hearts, or 2 hearts in general. Okay, we got 3 now, so it's much better. So, this is boss rush. The door only opens if you beat Mom in less than 20 minutes, and you see we're at 1830. So, boss rush is open, and it spawns 4 to 8 items. Well, I think sometimes it might spawn 2 items. And they are pretty much just completely random treasure room items. And the best one here, in my opinion, is Capricorn. It's an all stats up. So I will take Capricorn, and now let's fight boss rush. So as you can see, boss rush spawns 2 bosses at a time, and there's 10 waves of bosses. So this is wave number 1. And a lot of times the bosses get harder as you go. I don't know if that's like actually the case, or if it just is a coincidence that they usually get harder as they go. I'll try to figure that out. And sometimes they'll ambush you like Pin just did to me, so be careful. I'm Drowsy Pills are great. They slow down all of the enemies in the room. If you can get one of those for boss rush, you're going to pretty much have a win on boss rush. So you do definitely want something to slow down enemies like I am Drowsy. Very nice. I just have a perfect setup for boss rush. Even though I was already planning on doing boss rush, if I wasn't, this would be the build to do it. Because, like I said, Brimstone hits all the way across the room. You can hit both bosses with it. And you don't have to put yourself in harm's way. So, Brimstone is the item. The item for boss rush. The premium item. Like if you're talking about what is the literal best item for boss rush, yeah, it's definitely Brimstone. Normal Brimstone. Azazel's Brimstone is fine, but you're going to have to shoot twice the shots. So it's not like the best thing in the world. But look at that. We're just doing so much damage. I'm utilizing Multidimensional Baby, which doubles my shots. So I'm shooting out 2 Brimstone beams. Well, technically 3. Well, technically 5 with Little Brimstone. And we're just taking out the enemies from as far away as we can. And it's okay to die in boss rush. Let's be honest. Sometimes you're going to go into boss rush and you're not going to beat it. And that's okay because, you know, it's under 20 minutes of your life wasted. But you got to keep trying, because if you want all those completion marks and you want to get Dead God, you have to try to get boss rush on every single character. And I know it's a pain, and I know that it hurts to do it sometimes, but it's just so beneficial to learn boss rush. It's so beneficial to be able to take on boss rush. It helps you learn all of the bosses. It helps you learn, you know, how to dodge enemy patterns, and you never know what to expect in boss rush, so keeps you on your toes for sure. And boss rush only unlocks after you beat Mom for the very first time. So since we have beaten Mom, as you saw in the last episode, that's the reason we were able to do boss rush, or else your game will just end immediately. So make sure you only try to get to boss rush if you've already beaten Mom before. There's no point of doing it without beating her first. And I also should mention that in the last episode, I had the Soul of the Lost. That's actually a rune that you won't unlock, or you won't have unlocked on a new profile. So I will have some things that, and we unlock the catacombs. Beautiful. I will have some things unlocked that other people won't, okay? And I'm gonna try not to utilize them too much, just so that I can be true to the series. But if you see me use something that you don't have unlocked, well, at least you know how to use it once you unlock it, right? So yeah, once again, helps you learn all the bosses. But especially the I'm Drowsy Pill and Brimstone, you probably won't get a boss rush this good. I just got really lucky. But there we go. That is boss rush right there. You saw all 10 waves. And once you actually finish boss rush, you can leave the room. You can't leave the room during boss rush. Not sure if you saw because I was on the other side of the room. But you can leave right after boss rush ends. And now that you've beaten Mom, you can go down to the womb. An important thing to note about the womb, aka utero, is that, and womb and utero are the same level, it's just a different skin, is that once you get here, every hit from an enemy will do a full heart of damage rather than half a heart. So essentially, the womb becomes twice as hard. And so you have to be absolutely as careful as you can in the womb, just so that you don't take damage, because trust me, your HP can go way faster than you expect it to. I have 6 hearts, 6.5 hearts, and I don't even feel that comfortable doing being in the womb right now, just because of the fact that I could die in 7 hits. Like, that's all it takes, is 7 hits to kill me right now. And that can happen from anything. Like, there's some enemies in the womb that can instantly shoot a laser at you right when you walk into the room. Like, you have to be prepared for things like that. And you have to have enough health to be able to counteract it. And if you didn't see, there can be greed fights that appear in secret rooms as well as in the shops. We didn't get any greed fights in shops this run, thankfully. But the fact that you can get them even in secret rooms, you gotta be careful. You gotta make sure you don't go into a secret room or a shop with like half a heart. Sometimes you have no choice, but if you can help it, don't go into those rooms with half a heart. And you can see Dark Bum plus Contract from Below are just paying off in like spades. Like, it's crazy. So there's some more complicated enemies. The important thing for enemies that shoot out 3 shots like that is, so there's 2 ways to dodge those. The first way is you can just sidestep the middle one slightly and just hope that one of the side ones doesn't hit you, because if you sidestep just slightly, you'll be able to dodge all 3 shots. Or you can completely avoid the whole shot if you're not confident enough doing a short dodge. So you can do a short dodge or you can do a long dodge. And I recommend learning how to do a short dodge. It allows you to still hit the enemies while they're shooting. But if you can't figure that out, a long dodge is perfectly acceptable. It'll just be slightly harder to attack the enemy back. But you know, it's always baby steps. And that was Varicose Veins, if you didn't see. Varicose Veins, when you get hit, it makes you do an effect of all of your tears going out everywhere, which, since we have Brimstone, that's what happened. And the reason we got hurt was because Dark Bum gave us a fly, which I don't appreciate. Oh, Eye of the Occult. So that would give me the Leviathan transformation. However, I don't like the synergy, but I'm going to show you the synergy just because I can. So it makes you constantly fire, and you control it like this. It's kind of a cool synergy. Most people don't like that synergy, but I'm doing it just because I can. And after you beat Mom once, you still will not have the future levels unlocked. Womb will be the furthest you can go. So I'd say if you have something like an Emperor card, unless you want to get a little bit more value out of this floor, which I kind of do, in the form of this secret room if I can get to it, but I can't because of Eye of the Occult making me fire. But if you walk out of the room and walk back in, it makes you stop firing. So, just a handy dandy trick. By the way, the reason I'm blowing up all of these mushrooms is because I don't know if it's unlocked at the very start, but mushrooms can not only drop you pills, but they can drop you items sometimes, being mini mush or magic mush, and those items are actually really, really good. Especially Magic Mush. It's an all stats up, and it has a damage multiplier on it, so you'll be doing a lot of damage if you're able to get Magic Mush from a mushroom. Like I said, I couldn't tell you for sure whether or not it's unlocked at the start, but it probably is. I would hope. So once you get to Womb 2, you will fight Mom's Heart every time. Mom's Heart is the only boss that can spawn on this floor. And as you can see, it just spawns a chest. Usually it'll spawn a crawl space looking, or not a crawl space, but just like a normal trap door, or it'll spawn a beam of light. And depending on what you take in the Mom fight, the polarity of the negative, which we don't have unlocked yet, you'll be able to go to either Shoal or the Cathedral. And if a Devil Deal opens up actually in the womb, you can go to Shoal. So we're gonna go to Shoal. And I wasn't oh, and we unlocked Eden for beating Mom's Heart. So that is beautiful. I love Eden as a character. And I hope that everybody does. Eden is such a fun character. What's not fun though is this build. I don't like Eye of the Occult at all. But basically, once you get to this floor, you just have to look for Satan. And the Satan fight is one of the more challenging fights in the game. If you can do it, great. If you can't, don't worry about it. You'll just have to learn his attack patterns, okay? They're kind of difficult to learn, and so I really don't blame anybody who's not able to beat Satan, especially on your first try getting to him. Don't even worry about trying, I was gonna say don't worry about trying to beat him. Still worry about trying to beat him, because if you can, you should try to beat him. But if you lose, really, that's something that I can't get over enough, or get the point across enough. If you lose, don't worry about it. Everybody loses runs. I lose runs. I have runs posted on my channel that I've lost. Don't worry about losing, okay? Everybody, every single person loses runs. No matter how good you are at this game, everybody loses runs. But what do you get from not trying, right? You get nothing. Because if I pause, you'll see I still got the completion marks. I haven't won this run yet. I still got the completion marks. So there's literally no downside to trying to fight a harder boss. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight this harder boss because there's literally no downside. And if at first you don't succeed, try again. And I'm going to show you the optimal way, in my opinion, to try to beat Satan, okay? So these guys are annoying when you've got Eye of the Occult because you keep firing and then you gotta turn it towards them. And if you're firing at them, they will not shoot. They'll just stay in their skull, as you can see. And that puts you in a dangerous position. That's another reason I don't really like Eye of the Occult. But it's fine. I wanted to show it to you just for the people, just to show you why I don't like Eye of the Occult plus Brimstone. I do usually like Eye of the Occult with any other build, but with Brimstone it's just not too good. And as you can see, Splunker Helmet's showing us that the boss is to the left. So right after I go to the secret room, I will go straight to the boss. A good trinket, I will take that. And let's go in and fight Satan. So Satan has 3 phases. The first one is the Fallen, which you can fight as early as the basement, so it is not that hard of a phase. The first phase is by far the easiest. The second phase, in my opinion, is the hardest. I would recommend staying as far away from him as you can, and you just have to try to sidestep his tiers. Do the small sidestep that I was talking about, rather than like a large dodge to try to get around all of them. You need to just be able to sidestep them. In this phase, if you just keep moving around, you shouldn't take too many hits, okay? And that is where this run ends. We do not have the Dark Chest unlocked yet, so it ends with Shoal. And that is a definitive tutorial on how you can get to and beat Satan in the Binding of Isaac. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider joining the Multiplied crew. I'm going to make many more tutorials like this. I will try to have some more in-depth tutorials on characters. And we ended up just getting a bunch of blue baby marks, even though I was trying to do Azazel. But that's just how the game goes sometimes. Sometimes you turn into a different character and get completion marks on that character. So don't be afraid to do that. And have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.